On the table today at Squirrel Stampede, it's our annual Halloween NECA Monsters Horror Action Figures Run-Through Holiday Special. And this year we gotta ask, what is inside that haunted pumpkin smashers? A giant smashers pumpkin. What could possibly be in there? Can you guess? Can you guess? So this year again, I mostly chose some NECA Classics Universal monsters, and Dracula is gonna lead the team. Really wanted to finally get a Squeakula into the collection, and you'll know more about Squeakula as we go forward. Also picked up this amazing Invisible Donnie. Love collecting the Universal X Turtles. They are so fun. So if we can find Donnie before he disappears, then the creature from the Black Lagoon is here. Just so scaly and haunting, the detail on this figure. And finally I threw in a Fortnite figure. I know it's not NECA, it's Hasbro, but Punk here with the pumpkin head just looked perfect for the review. And then also again, what is inside the Smashers pumpkin? Can you guess? Can you guess? So follow along as we go through an abundant supply of horror or monster scary figures, a few other surprises on the way, and we will have a terrific Happy Halloween showcase for you.
Squirrel Stampede!
And we begin the review with a battle. A battle over a Twix Minis bar? Well, apparently there was only one at the Squirrel Stampede snack bar, and now the horror minifigures are fighting over who gets to win it. Pennywise with balloon blows on top of Huggy Wuggy. Huggy Wuggy with the bone chop onto Pennywise. Pennywise has got him, oh, they're floating up into the sky, and oh! Pennywise was not able to control the touchdown, and it looks like Huggy Wuggy has won the Twix bar. That is a shocking development. So I would say this year's big NECA figure for me would be Dracula, or sometimes known as Squeakula. And if you're interested in seeing Squeakula's haunted mansion, check out over at Squirrel Stampede Gaming. We're building Squeakula's haunted mansion, and it's a total ride. So check that out if you ever get some time. But the Dracula here, totally old school Universal monsters. Bela Lugosi. What? Did I pronounce his name right? Last year I was actually watching many of these old school classics. They are so funny. And there he is inside the box. Kinda hard to see in the box. There is Dracula with a couple different head sculpts to switch back and forth and a few accessories. It took me a few weeks to decide, do I want the Dracula figure in color, the full color figure, or do I want the black and white figure, which kind of represents a more classical style? I went with the color. I may just actually go back and also get a black and white, because they're both a little bit different. I really like the style of the black and white, just feels like what they were at the time. But on the other hand, the paint accents so much on this figure, it's incredibly haunting. Let's get Dracula out of his crypt. Oh, well, there the highly sculpted NECA Dracula stands. Wow, what have they done to this guy? It is quite sharp. Another impressive classics monster to add to the old collection. Now sadly, first off, I would consider myself the master of the acrylic rod, and yet somehow I broke mine right out of the bat. The poor bat right now is stuck by some glue in there, but I may have to order another acrylic stick. So sadly my bat of Dracula is not standing very well, but it is a really cool little extra feature of this figure. Another cool feature of this figure is the impressive cape he's got going, a fabric style cape, and not only can you wear it like this over the back of the shoulder, but you can also fold it over the top, which is so rare in capery of action figures. How often do you get a cape that goes over the top of the shoulders? The head sculpt is sure magnificently spooky. There's a couple more. There's not really a head sculpt with his fangs protruding from teeth. This one's probably the closest in anger. So I would probably switch just between these two, but I kind of like this one installed right now. It's pretty much right down the middle. And up close, can you see the skin tone? The sculpted skin tone on these? I think this is why I went with the color version again. There's a little more depth with the color, but I certainly want to see a black and white version too. Care for some refreshments from your figure? So a few accessories included, which I keep dropping, a vial of wine or blood or whatever that is. And I think there's so-so articulation with this one. We've got head rotation up top there with plenty of cool angles. Shoulders that just rotate around. They don't really outward pull too much. Elbows, wrists that you can switch. There's so many variety of hands, almost the same style, but you can switch out some different hands for different gesturing. Nothing really in there. Waist upper, but a little bit lower below his vest there, but it's so tight. hips there as well, and knees and ankles. Overall, the NECA figures are pretty stiff. They seem to always go for more detail than movement, but I'm not going to be engaging this figure into any sort of major action figure fight, so it works for me. It has been foretold if I place Dracula's candlestick on top of the Smasher's pumpkin, it may weaken its defenses. It has weakened. So totally glad to add Dracula into my Squeakula collection here. Frankenstein's squirrel is quite tall. I don't remember him being so tall. And I think this was a black and white figure. I think I will look for that black and white Dracula. I just like that classic feel. And somehow I gotta figure out how to fix my bat. So, what? There's something right there. I don't understand. I don't understand. What is... Oh, it was Invisible Donnie. Invisible Donnie was right there the whole time. Well, this year's X-Universal Monsters of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles continues. I picked up Donatello earlier in the year, finally getting a chance to open. There was actually a really slick Invisible Man Classics Universal figure too, but I went with Donatello. I would rather have the turtle version. And it's so clean to the original Invisible Man, it works so well. So this is my choice of the NECA figure Invisible Man for the moment. I may go back and get an original one at some point, but this is the one that was in my collection today. Uh-oh, it appears another battle has sprung forward on the table while Luigi is fighting off Springtrap for that Milky Way Minis Midnight Bar that was left over at the Squirrel Stampede snack bar. There was only one Milky Way Minis, and now they battle for it. Well, while Luigi has that enchanted trident and is really hitting down on Springtrap's exoskeleton, but Springtrap has a way of springing defeat. And now, Springtrap is throwing Waluigi into the air, and Springtrap has destroyed Waluigi and is taking the spoils of victory. We might need to order some more snacks for the Squirrel Stampede snack bar. Well, let's get back to Invisible Man Donatello here, opening up. And Invisible Donnie out of the box. Hey, where'd he go? Get back here. Come on, Donnie, show yourself. Ah, good, there he is. Well, an impressive figure of Donatello Invisible Man. Very much like what you would see from the old school classic monsters. He's got the trench coat, he's got the face wrappings, he's got the goggles, he's got the invisible pizza filled shell on the back there. Look at that, that's a highlight. Now that's pretty funny and highly detailed, a clear shell, and you can see pizza slices floating around inside. And look at this like almost leather belt thing wrapping he's got going. Very turtleific. Head sculpt is spectacular. There's another one. You can switch between either this one, which I think is my favorite, or a little more disheveled Invisible Donnie here with hair. Well, do turtles have hair? I know they have ears, but I didn't know they would have hair tufts coming out, but there's hair tufts for that. Oh, and there was a hat. There was a hat inside that kind of flipped out and flew across the room, so that is such a nice little accent piece. As for accessories, there's actually almost a little bit too much. The microscope works pretty well. An invisible TGRI notebook. And then about every possible hand and leg attachment you could ask for, which is a little bit overkill here. So there looks to be several gloved, open-handed gestures for Donnie, like an open fingers there, a pointing finger, then some grasping hands, almost like we've got a couple for each hand, couple fists, then we have invisible fists and invisible feet. He already has invisible feet going on, so there's just so much with this. Sometimes a little bit too much is just too much and never gets used. I think out of the box is exactly what I'd like to do. Maybe switch out one of these hands with a foot or something. And it has been foretold if I place Invisible Donnie's TGRI notebook on top of the Smasher's pumpkin, it will have weakened its shell. It has weakened! And for articulation, NECA style, shoulders just don't reach out enough for me on these, but they do rotate. Elbows, almost a double jointed elbow there. Wrist rotation, obviously, because you're going to be switching out different arm pieces. There's something in the waist there under the belt. And hips actually have pretty good movement on the hips, knees, and ankles. So there's stuff in there, but it's very tight. And these aren't really, again, for super action figure play. They're more for find a great position and place on shelf for display. And there goes Donnie. So the next haunted figure isn't really NECA's, it's a Fortnite Victory Royale series punk, which I've had in my collection for a while, and just seems appropriate for today. A pretty cool looking jack-o'-lantern headed skinned warrior. And I believe if you look around, you may still find on shelf, usually over at Walmart, depending on if they've stocked up their Fortnite items or not. Seemed like a really great addition for today, so let's finally get Punk out of pack. And out of pack, Punk. Now with those double-batted harvesting tools, Punk is looking alright and... oh no, not another battle. So once again, the Squirrel Stampede snack bar seems to only have one Three Musketeers left, and well, we have a classic fight here between Freddy versus Jason over the Three Musketeers, as Jason delivers some heavy axe blows onto Freddy, Freddy though scratching back with his claws, and Freddy has somehow defeated Jason and is now taking that Three Musketeers. We definitely need some more candy items on the snack bar. So back now up to Punk, pretty good sculpted figure, especially coming from the Victory Royale series Hasbro. Look at that jacket. The jacket is full of some really fine texture there. Nice gridded, very realistic fabric coat jacket feel to what it's got. Pumpkin head sculpt also looking terrific. This is a really nice Victory Royale series figure. They don't pick up too many anymore. You don't see as many anymore. It's hard to find these. And overall, just a great look. We've got some back bling here. Not sure, it's been like almost over a year since I've logged into Fortnite. Isn't that crazy? I just don't get a chance to play Fortnite very much. And so I don't even know what things are called. Oh, I bet you can put those bats and hold those into the back bling. Does the back bling go like this? Or can you rotate it up like this? The bats would have easier time, but then it would be an upside down skull. I don't know. Don't break the back bling, Dan. Don't break that. Also, I don't even know what this is. Sorry, Punk. It's not standing very well. That's my only critical complaint of this guy, is I'm having an awful time standing him. It's one of these toys where there's almost too much articulation in the feet, especially in the ankles, which cause problems in getting it to balance. Make a bigger footprint, people. I always tell you that. Just make a bigger footprint. By the way, look at those socks. They even went full detail on his orange polka dotted socks. That is really spiffy. Oh, there he goes again. And it has been foretold, if Punk smashes the Smasher's pumpkin with his bats, it will weaken the shell even more. It's weakening! It's weakening! Full articulation, better probably on these head rotations, shoulders that reach out a lot more than NECA, double jointed elbows, wrists, a rotational upper body, sometimes lower rotational point too, hips that reach out, also a turn point at the hip there, a double jointed knee. There's just loaded with joints, and I could not miss out on adding this into my horror collection Halloween special this year. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good pose. I like that one. That just naturally happened. And he fell down again, didn't he? He fell down just as I turned off the camera. Alright, one more final NECA monster. Who made the final cut? There was a little bit of a competition on this side. This is all going to be mixed up a little bit, but what I really wanted to show was a colorized version of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and I ended up only finding a black and white version, and I really wanted to find a color, but they're a little more tricky to find. But yet, here I am. I like to collect the black and white, so I'm a little confused why I got into this mess. But then, who almost made the cut and probably won't get there today is the Wolfman, and the Wolfman is in color. So I've got the Wolfman in color, but I really wanted the Wolfman in black and white, which they now sell. I've seen over at Target several black and white Wolfmans, which I would rather have than color, but I picked this one up last year, so I can't return it, so I'm stuck with this one, and so I'm kind of bummed about it. Not sure if I want to open it, but I do really want to share the creature of the Black Lagoon, even though it is in black and white. Everybody got that? That got really confusing. Basically, what I'm saying is I almost prefer all the classic monsters in black and white, except for Creature from the Black Lagoon, who looks incredible in a color version, full color version. This guy in black and white just looks so odd. But I want to share it because it's such a fantastic, detailed figure. So let's get the Creature from the Black Lagoon out of pack. And out, and finally standing really well, our first figure that's standing perfectly today, possibly because of these huge penguin feet. I'm so bummed. In this instance, the black and white, I just don't think it does this figure justice. Yeah, that's how you're gonna see this guy on screen, and in some ways can make it really creepy. And if you combine your black and white figures all together, you'll feel like you're in a black and white old school universe, but I really want to see some color pop on this guy more. Quite tall. Look how tall he is towards Dracula. Very similar to what we saw with Frankensqueak. So let's see, articulated points up at the shoulders, and there's a little better movement with this guy. Hidden articulation under the scales. That's so cool. A rotation point center arm, wrists, upper body rotation. A little bit of a, there's several points here. Upper body rotation, lower body rotation, hips, some soft plastic skirting here and there, hidden into all his flanges and things, and double jointed knee, I think? Oh, it's hard to tell. There's an extra point. There's several points in here. I don't even know where to count them. Fantastic feat of holding this dude up. I think opening and closing mouth? Something there. Maybe not. There's a slit there, so I thought maybe we can open it and close it. Just overall, the detail of this figure is insanely awesome. And there's about like 100 extra flippers for this guy. I don't even know what's hands. I guess they're all hands. They have to be. So extra hands. Oh, well, it's like almost the same thing. Why do they do that? NECA is so weird. Here's the same hand over and over with just maybe a slight change. This one's fine. This one has a little more of a grasping out type of look. So several different hands. There's one more in the pack even. Oh, there's two more. Trust me, multiple too many, but a couple different head sculpts, and these are actually pretty good compared to what Dracula had. And so we have really wide open fish mouth, which is pretty great, and then halfway open fish mouth. So several to choose from. I think I might go with this open one, more so than this one, but I'll just leave it for now. It'll be a little easier. Oh, he fell over. How is that possible? He had big feet. Is that Shadow Freddy versus a corrupted minion fighting for that Snickers bar, the last Snickers bar at the table? Oh, the fur is getting into Freddy's nose and he's sneezing. And so he's going to get back at Corrupted Minion by smacking him over the back. Corrupted Minion is really over his heels with... No, wait! He flipped Freddy! He flipped Freddy out of the way. Corrupted Minion takes the Snickers. I did not expect that at all. What a mess of the table. So anyhow, Creature Lagoon figure from is amazing. And it has been foretold if the creature from the Black Lagoon gives the Smasher's pumpkin a kiss, it will weaken its defenses. It's weakening! It's weakening! Definitely old schooly, not really sure how many people know this one. I just had to share it. Look at that back spine again from all around. Gonna have to find a full color version because I think this is one really needs to see in full color. I would have much preferred to show Wolfman in black and white and then not color. So there's Wolfman again. I think I'm gonna leave in pack because I may just try to find a way to exchange Wolfman for black and white version. I'm not really interested in Wolfman here, but it's another great NECA figure. I just barely missed the cut. Two other figures that barely missed the cut this year of opening would be Trick or Treat. Now, I have not seen this movie. I checked out the trailer this week and I thought, for being a horror comedy, it looked too scary for me, so I just stayed away. But I may open this someday. Haven't decided yet. Have you seen Trick or Treat? The figure is just amazing. Look at this guy. You got this little dude with the scarecrow-like mask, pumpkin head extras, alien mask pumpkin heads, little accessory pieces. So I gotta watch this movie before I can even review an item so well done. I mean, the burlap sack texture on there is quite impressive. I keep running into this guy over the past year at Target and finally just said, well, I guess I'll put it on my list, but I'm not sure if it'll make it in today. And yeah, I want to watch the movie before. I just don't know anything about it other than it's a horror comedy, but it still looks pretty spooky. I think 2008, 9, 7, somewhere in there for that show. Definitely an honorable mention for NECA Horror Series. And just otherwise awesome, the Van Helsing Splinter. This guy is incredibly cool. Donnie won the Turtles figure opening today, but this is also an incredible NECA figure. I'd like to leave in pack for a while just because he looks so much better in pack. They did such a terrific job with the Turtle Monster series. I mean, they look so great in boxes, and I don't totally want to disturb this guy yet. But what a perfect match. Splinter as Van Helsing. You've got arrows included. You've got a crossbow, an actual display stand, thank you, and great imagery on the box. That's one of the highlights, the imagery of these turtle boxes. They're so great. Probably the last one I'd get. I skipped on a couple of these. Look at this. Van Helsing, Trouble with Monsters, Call the Rat with the Hat. Master of Ninjutsu, Hunter of Vampire, Slayer of Shredder. Such a great figure. And there are other figures available. I skipped out on Hunchback Leo. Not a big fan of that one. He's just too hulking. Somewhere around the studio, I did pick up Frankenraff. I liked that one. And I think there's like a Bride of April or something like that. But I didn't want to pick everyone up. And the last honorable mention horror figures, Treehouse of Horror Reaction Series Inside Out Bart. What? Okay, this was just funny and on a major good deal on Amazon. Typically, reaction figures run like $20 over sometimes and are ridiculous. This was $10, and I loved the episode where the Simpsons all went inside out. I won't open it though. Reaction figures are known to be terrible of quality, like you'll move an arm and they'll split in half or something. And part of the novel idea of these is to leave on card and display. This series also had Kang Dole, which I almost sprung for too, Grim Reaper Homer, and Skeleton March. I think this was a last year thing or even a year ago thing. It's hard to say. I feel like I've seen them a long time ago. But I thought it was funny to honorable mention Inside Out Bart. There he is again. Total funny, silly figure. So that is this year's Haunted selection. Oh, wait, where did Invisible Donnie go? Ah, there he is. My selection of Haunted figures for the year. It's always fun to go through a few NECAs and add a Fortnite in there too. Well now, since we have opened the 4, we can celebrate by opening and finding out what is inside the Smasher's Pumpkin. What is inside the Smasher's Pumpkin, you ask? We've got to know. We've done what the Great Pumpkin has asked to open up more NECA and other horror figures for Squirrel Stampede's Holiday Special, Halloween Holiday Special. What is inside? What can we smash open? It would be, oh, no way, candy! We can replenish the Squirrel Stampede snack bar. Oh, what a happy day. The Squirrel Stampede snack bar has been restocked. The squirrels will have something to eat and less horror figure minifigure battles over one candy bar. What a cool surprise inside there. And that's our Squirrel Stampede Happy Halloween special with NECA and a few other horror monster figures. Thank you so much for joining in. What do you think? If you liked today's video, please give us a squike, squirrelibe, comment your favorite NECA horror figure, monster, or something I did not touch on today that you think, oh, I should know about for 2024, right? Don't forget, we now have Squirrel Stampede merch out. We've got a plush Landry, some t-shirts, a water bottle, interesting things. Thank you again so much for watching the Happy Halloween Squirrel Stampede special. Have a happy Halloween! And that's what I have to say about that.